Tim Geithner was the president of the New York Federal Reserve Bank in the fall of 2008 when the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and the White House and the Congress decided to bail out AIG.
Right.
In the process of that bailing out of AIG, many documents were exchanged. If you went to the bank to borrow money, you'd have to fill out documents.
All right, stay there. We're going to come back and play about a minute more of that. Then I'm going to play what Ed Schultz had to say. And the White House, like Nixon, may have been caught red-handed. Stay with us.
Governor Spitzer joining us tonight here on the Ed Show. Governor, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Ed. Always great to be here.
And I want to play this piece of tape first because it came up at the White House briefing today. This is Robert Gibbs somewhat defending Tim Geithner. Here it is.
Secretary Geithner was not involved in any of these emails. These decisions did not raise to his level at the Fed. These are emails and decisions made by officials at a independent regulatory agency.
How do you know that he wasn't involved? He was a leader of the New York Fed. So.
Right, but he wasn't on the emails that have been talked about and wasn't party to the decision that was being made.
Now, Elliot, you're a prosecutor. I mean, the White House is on record now. This is pretty dangerous territory if they're wrong, isn't it?
Well, yes, and I'm a little surprised he was making such...
Yeah, he's surprised they were making such declarative, definitive statements. Now, Spitzer last time tried to expose this as New York governor, and they brought out the hookers. The FBI was surveilling him the whole time. So he better watch himself or they'll just bring out more of the hookers to try to discredit him. That's the type of hardball that these people play. But the issue here is, if you go back to last year, remember when Senator Dodd came out and said, give the bailout to AIG, and the White House said, no, you shouldn't do that. And Dodd said, what do you mean? You told me to do that. And he released the emails from the White House. The White House is incredibly deceptive on this front. This is criminality. I want to take your calls on this issue and a lot more on the other side. But let me tell you, this is criminal what's going on. They need to go to jail. Okay, I'm going to your phone calls. Coming up next hour, government-run health care. All the bribes and criminality there openly going on. Federal health care to be applied differently to different states by the federal government, not by the states themselves. We're going to get into what's happening with the economy, the dollar continuing its plunge, gold surging yet again. And, of course, the naked body scanners in trouble as airline executives and CEOs say people are already boycotting and not flying. People don't want to be recorded naked in these machines that also radiate your body. New York Times admitting it does hit your body with DNA-damaging radiation. The government responds and says, we're going to put them on the streets, not just in the airports. But right now, let's go to your phone calls. But first, I want to add this again. Do you understand the federal government has both parties calling for new taxes? And there's taxes in the health care bill. They're calling for national sales taxes, excise taxes. They're calling for value-added taxes to, quote, pay off the national debt as the government explodes in size. The answer is cut the size of government and don't pay the private banks for private derivatives that they have been engaged in. 100 cents on the dollar. Don't pay them 1 cent on the dollar. That only encourages more of this. And the derivatives are continuing. All the same scams are intensifying. J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and others took much of the bailout money and put it back into derivatives. They use it to manipulate the market. All right, let's go to your phone calls. William in California, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Alex? How you doing?
Welcome, sir. Worldwide broadcast. How may I serve you?
Right on. Okay, I have two questions for you, and I've been trying to get a hold of you for a very long time. It's probably been 2 months. You said once, dude, I don't know if I was hearing things or what, but you said something about them coming out with them releasing information on UFOs or aliens or something like that. Did you say anything like that?
Okay, I don't cover things like that on my show, but I did say that the government has had all these astronauts coming out, including on this show, talking about possible extraterrestrials. I had 2 moonwalkers on, including Buzz Aldrin, and they're suddenly talking about it. The Pope says, get ready for aliens. And I see all these government announcements saying they may make an announcement. And all I'm saying is something's going on. They're conditioning. They're preparing the public for something. And I just know when I see propaganda, and every day in the news, in the news wires, I see governments getting the public ready for it.
Wow. Just wow. I mean, I don't even really believe in that stuff. But
yeah,
I mean,
I only cover what I can prove. But when I see the government start hyping it and saying, get ready for it, something may happen. But I also know there's a declassified government program, Project Bluebeam, where they would have fake alien landings and holograms to shock the population into submission. So, I mean, chances are it'll be a government hoax if it does happen.
Oh, yeah, it figures. Well, anyway, I'm living in Southern California. Every day I see these big, large lines in the sky, and I try to point up to people and, like, point them out, and they just have
well, the government's
no
now
idea.
Declassified, William. They are chemtrailing. I appreciate your call. By the way, I have another news report that I didn't see printed out, guys. I think I sent it to you. If not, it's up on Infowars.com. Will you print it for me? Headline, California DMV workers to work for free every Friday. We have a name for it. It's called slavery. See, once they bankrupt the government, once 90+% of all the tax money goes to banks on fiat made-up interest, they start cutting all of the services, including all your cushy government jobs. And so more and more tickets, more and more revenue, more and more checkpoints. Now they're going to put in the red light cameras license plate readers to mark you mile from mile how fast you're going, automated speeding cameras. Again, more and more government revenue, less and less services. Because once the banks get you addicted and get you bankrupted, they've done this in hundreds of third world countries. We have the IMF's own documents where they do it by design. Then they take all your services away. We're now entering that phase. But imagine, California workers to work for free. That's big government for you. Jason in Illinois, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Alex. Thanks for taking my call.
Welcome.
I have to admit I feel a little guilty about asking you about this because of such, the topics that you're talking about today are pretty important, and what I'm about to ask you isn't. You've mentioned Brad Pitt being awake, and of course I'm sure you're aware of Angelina Jolie being a CFR member. I just wondered if you couldn't give us all your analogy, how that correlates.
All right, I appreciate your call. Look, we don't screen your phone calls unless I have a specific guest on specific topics, but I mean, I know Keanu Reeves. I know Woody Harrelson. We woke up, and Rick Linklater and others have talked about that on air. Bruce Willis. I happen to know that Brad Pitt is awake to the New World Order. And Angelina Jolie went and joined the CFR, from what I've been told, to try to find out what it was really all about. The CFR, low level, is just a bunch of propaganda. It's the high level people that actually have power. But, I mean, I'm not obsessed with celebrities here on the show. And I really think it's a distraction. I mean, I saw Gibbs in his press conference talk about Lost. And I appreciate your call, Jason. I saw Gibbs talk about Lost and said, don't worry, we're not telling you when the State of the Union is. And the reporter said, well, will it preempt Lost? And here's the headline. Gibbs, State of the Union won't coincide with the premiere of Lost. And it says ABC is happy. Lost doesn't matter. Brad Pitt doesn't matter. Everybody's depressed in Austin. There's articles about people crying and depressed and nursing their wounds because, in the first quarter, Colt McCoy got a pinched nerve. I mean, who cares? Okay? Get concerned. Folks, they're devaluing the dollar because the banks have stolen $28 trillion. And it had value when they spent it to buy assets. Now they devalue your dollar. And they're going to tax you on top of it. Just like Venezuela just devalued their peso by 50%. Do you know what that's going to do to your standard of living? Do you know we really have over 20% unemployment? Do you know that our industrial base is falling apart? That's what matters, not Colt McCoy and UT losing to Alabama. It doesn't matter. We're in trouble because people are obsessed with stupid stuff. All of you people out there who are only obsessed with football or only obsessed with Angelina Jolie, you better wake up and get involved in real issues. Michael in Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex.
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to say something about Illuminati symbolism in hip-hop and music, videos, and movies and stuff.
Yes, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I wanted to know your comment on Jay-Z. He has a song that says the Illuminati will save him, and he calls himself a Mason, and he says he loves the Rockefellers, and his sign is his hands make a triangle. I want to know your...
Yes, that's pure New World Order in your face. Pure brainwashing. But again, if he really loved the Masons, he would know that George Washington fought against the Illuminati, and I mean to do a whole show on that or an hour on that, all his letters against the Illuminati. Again, the Illuminati tried to take over and was successful in taking over powerful Masonic houses. But again, I appreciate your call, Michael. Not one call yet on AIG and open criminality and the fact that if we expose this and bring the Federal Reserve to justice, we can audit it, we can abolish it, and get real money back and save this country. If not, the bankers are going to continue to rape and pillage financially. They're the ones funding the police state, everything.